Now, I've got what some of us think of is it's a shocking sign of the times. Look at this. 36% of the nation's youth, that's 18 to 31-year-olds, they still live at home. Political Prospect editor Kayleigh McEnany joins us now in New York. Kayleigh, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Now, we can put this down to overhanging student debt, the lack of jobs. You've got to move back in with mom and dad because you're out of money and you've got to pay that loan. But is something else at work here? Is this a fundamental shift in America's youth culture?
Yes, you hit the nail on the head, Stuart. This is more than just about the economy. It's a definitive change in attitude. My parents' generation, it was unacceptable to live in your parents' basement. If you couldn't find work, you made work. If you couldn't make work, you took a job outside of your industry. But my generation has become a generation of dependence. If you can't find the job you want, the perfect job, you sit in your parents' basement eating Cheetos and crying with the Bachelorette. It's unacceptable, and it's a definite change in attitude. And
look, back in my day, I'm old enough to be your grandfather, okay? But back in your parents' day, students didn't come out of college saddled with a whopping great big chunk of student debt. I mean, they really didn't.
Yeah.
Now they do. And what are you going to do if you're a 20-something and you owe, as Charles suggested, $20,000, $30,000, maybe more? What are you going to do?
That's right, and you couple that with this Obama economy where 9 million jobs have vanished in 5 years, and it's a very, seemingly insurmountable barrier to overcome. That being said, you make it work. I know my father would have made it work. He would have found a job. He would have made a job. It's harder now, absolutely, but that's no excuse for not pulling up the bootstraps and making it work and finding a job.
But, it's interesting because every time the president speaks, he always says it's no fault of your own.
Yeah.
In other words, whatever position you're in, you're the victim. So if you're not working, it's not your fault. You're not lazy. We always talk about, because it's financial redistribution of wealth. I find the redistribution of accountability to be the thing that's hurting this country even more than his economic policies. These social green lights to just be a bum.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And this goes back to liberal education, too, where it's okay to major in anything you want. You can major in European arts. You can major in, all of these things. And they don't have to be practical.
Just follow your heart.
Just follow your heart. It's this liberal free-for-all mentality when at the end of the day, you have to do something to add to this economy and be productive and be a functioning adult.
You sound like me. I mean, there's probably 40 years separated, but you sound a lot like me.
Yeah.
I've got to ask this question. I promised the viewers that I would ask. Would you date a young man who is living at home with his mother?
I wouldn't, Stuart. You got to go find a job and get out of your parents' house to date me. But I've got a fiance, and he has a job and is out of his parents' basement. So.
But do you think that you speak for young people in America or just for a very narrow section of young people?
I think I speak for a very narrow section, but the bigger section is waking up, and they're waking up because they have to.
If you talk like this, do you think, you're a Republican, you're a conservative, you're on the right of the political spectrum. You talk like that to those young people, get a job, get out of the house, stand on your own 2 feet. Will you get their vote?
No. No, you absolutely.
What are you doing?
What are the reality will force them to wake up. 4 years down the road, when you've been living in your parents' basement for 4 years, you have to wake up. Reality forces you to wake up. We hope.
We hope indeed. Kayleigh McEnany, thanks for joining us. Good to see you in New York today.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.